Okay. Good morning, New York. It's a beautiful September morning outside today. The sun is shining, and we can expect temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s. As we move into tomorrow, we'll see a cold front sweeping across the country. About 8:45 this morning, New York City was sent into disarray. We are still receiving details as we speak, but it seems as if the World Trade Center, located in Lower Manhattan, more specifically the North Tower, has experienced some sort of explosion. Some reports say that it was a plane that struck the tower, but at this point, we're unable to confirm those reports. These two towers really are the beacons of Lower Manhattan. They each stand at about 110 stories. Their height surpassing that of the Empire State Building, indeed leaving them as the focal point of this city's skyline. As we can see from these pictures, the North Tower has smoke bellowing out from two sides. We do have an unconfirmed report that an airplane had hit the building earlier this morning, but so far nothing official.
Chuck was definitely unique. When we first started dating, it was almost like we both knew that we found our person. So we were together nonstop from that day on. Faith was very important to him. He was a member of the Knights. He went to daily mass. He said the rosary all the time. I felt like it was his top priority. And actually, when he asked me to marry him, obviously I said yes in the moment. But I did say to him, "Are you sure you're not supposed to be a priest?" Because I really thought he was supposed to be a priest.
Chuck was so, I won't say bashful, but he wasn't the person that came in the room and got attention. He wasn't that person that was very boastful in any way. When we would walk to school or walk to church, he'd pick up anybody along the way to give them a ride. And he was very connected with his family. Like, his family meant everything to him.
The kids felt loved and happy.
Say, Dad, Dad, Dad.
They felt joy from interacting with him because he was just a fun dad.
I never met nobody like him. You know, we were a bunch of wild kids, and Chuck was the good kid. He was always good. You know, we were out getting in trouble, and he was getting us out of trouble.
He would give you the shirt off his back. He was constantly giving money to the homeless in New York on the way to work. You know, they say God takes the good guys early, and God definitely took him early.
Good morning, New York. It's a beautiful September morning outside today. The sun is shining.
That day, it was a beautiful day. I would say that most people's memory prior to 8:45 that morning, it would have been the kind of day you'd walk out and say, "Oh, this is like a gorgeous day." Chuck, he was an elevator constructor. He really wasn't always in the city. For him to be in the city was actually not common. He just went to work, and I went to work, and the kids went to school, and at that time, in that moment, everything was normal. I drove a school bus at the time, but for little kids, when I got to the school, it was like 9:15, and my boss came running out. She goes, "Mary, a second plane hit." And I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about?" None of the cell phones worked. Cell phone for Chuck didn't work. Cell phone for his partner didn't work. Everything was like an automatic busy signal. You couldn't call anybody. And so then I called the office. His office was in Jersey. So this person gets on the phone and proceeds to start asking me, have I heard from Chuck? And I'm like, no. I'm asking you, like, have you heard from them? We were on the phone for a long time, and he just kept asking me the same questions. I just remember feeling very overwhelmed and confused. I was just told that he was unaccounted for.
New York City is in shock. One of its most famous landmarks destroyed, and America is under siege.
Me and Chuck, we were both in the same union, building elevators in New York. When I got to Jersey, I get a phone call from my union, "Where's your brother?" And I said, "I'm not sure." I'm told he's down by the Trade Center helping people. I dropped the phone and I didn't know what to do.
I call Raymond and I say, Raymond, so what's going on? Like, Mary still hasn't heard from Chuck yet. He goes, it's not good. And I go, what do you mean it's not good? He goes, Chuck ran into the building. And maybe he was last seen just running. I just turned to my son and I said, if Uncle Chuck is gone, this is the exit he would have written.
I screamed. I don't remember what I said, but I definitely remember screaming. But I still then convinced myself he's just there helping. Between the phones not working and if he's in the middle of trying to rescue people, because that's what I pictured, that he's there and he's removing rubble and he's trying to help people. That's totally what I believed was happening. I was in the basement, just stared at the TV all night long, looking for him.
Mayor Giuliani got on the news and he said that they were changing it from a rescue mission to a recovery mission. And I just remember my dad just looked at me and he said to me, he goes, my son's not coming home. And he just broke up off in tears. And that was very painful to see.
So obviously the first couple months were really, really tough on my family. I came to Mary's house pretty much every single day for almost a year. When she called me on January 5th and said they found him, it was hard, but a blessing.
The one good thing was his body was intact. They found him and they knew it was him right away. They gave him an honor guard and all construction workers carried him out of there. I don't think I would have had the guts to do what he did. Thing on fire, people jumping out. And he ran in there and he saved a lot of lives. The firemen referred to him as the elevator guy. And he got a lot of people out of the one building and he ran in the other building. And I came down on him. He was an angel here on earth. He really was.
Chuck loved these big dogs.
This baby here. That was Sebastian. And in the beginning, the dreams that I had, he was wrestling Sebastian. So that was the one. That was the other. And I said, it looks like they were told they're going to Disney World. And he looks like he's saying, I'm so sorry, Mary. And then Mary Kate drew that. I thought that was
That is great.
yes.
I've always said one of the things with Chuck is one of the richest men I've ever known. I always wish I got it like he got it. He was just a role model to show people this is the way life is supposed to be lived. Hold each other tight as much as you can.
There was so many people that we found out that he was helping after he passed. I came forward and called Mary and said, I just want to tell you how good your husband is, and this is what he did for me, that we never even knew about, because he didn't brag about nothing. He just did it.
A lot of memories come flooding back when somebody brings up his name. And when they bring up his name, there'll be 5, 10 other guys joining in the conversation. Remember when he did this? Remember when he did that? It was a good time. Those were good times back then.
No matter how hard life would get, he always saw the bright side of everything. There's no way he could have left that city without helping people. He was meant to do the job, and God called him home.
I believe God is an all-knowing and all-loving God. I don't profess that I understand all that he does and why. Over the time of 44 years, I've learned lessons, yet there are many I've yet to learn, or will just never understand. I feel learning to love is the key to all life. And yet, I feel this lesson has been one for me, where I have a long way to go.